Hello, 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 y'all. I'm here with Mr. Brennan Boyd. I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm going to let him introduce himself. But if he's here, there's a reason he is actually here and what he's doing. Brendan, who are you? What are you doing here? The floor is yours.
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm excited to be here. Speak to Expand podcast with my guy Ryan. We got a relationship outside the podcast, so I had to pull up, bless, and support my guy on his show. So what I do, I'm a digital media entrepreneur. I run two agencies. One helps business owners and entrepreneurs get more exposure by getting them on podcasts, and the other one helps with content editing. So whether it's long form, short form, redistribution of your podcast content, because let's be honest, a lot of y'all go on shows and don't do nothing with the content. So we're here to help you. Other than that, I'm really on a finance journey right now, helping people that look like me, that come from where I'm from, help them to get their money right, just become more knowledgeable, financial literacy, and I'm excited to be here.
Sure. So looking back, you didn't just graduate high school and magically, show up to where you are now with business. You've got a backstory, and Brennan and I we met, actually it was a mastermind in Fort Lauderdale, in September, a few months back.
Yeah. Well, we met through Dinah. We met through one of your business partners.
Right, sure.
I met her at a speaking event.
There you go.
She told me about you. Me and you jumped on a horn, did a Zoom, went crazy, been building. I had a couple of digital nomadic, stays, did some business together and stuff like that. So yeah, man. That's it basically started from a networking event.
Yeah, the speaking, I think it's a great point. So where did you kind of start? I know where you're at now, but if you want to you kind of explain where you are now, looking back and kind of connecting the dots to, I guess, 3 pivotal decisions that you had to make throughout your life to lead you to now where you are professionally and personally. Let's go through those. What did those look like, and what were those for you? Yeah, let's start with 3 because there might be.
All right, so the first one would be, it's like the tail end of me in the fashion industry, and I got a business partner. We got a fairly successful brand, culturally successful. We didn't have our backing together. We didn't have any mentorship. We weren't financially literate. We didn't have a real handle on the management of the business, but it was still successful. So towards the end of that, me and my business partner, we couldn't coexist any longer in terms of just like egos, working together, things of that sort. So I prayed to God and I said, hey, listen, I understand this is coming to a head. We're going to be going in different directions. I want to sustain my current lifestyle. I don't know what direction I should go in because, I was making good money, fashion, being, working with myself and stuff like that. I knew we were ending, but I didn't know what path I was going to go into. So I woke up the next morning after prayer, got an email. That email showed me, hey, listen, you can take a real estate course, get your real estate license, close these deals, go crazy. So I immediately looked in my closet. I had 2 pair of Kobe's and a pair of Jordan 6s. I sold them, got the money, invested in a real estate course, got licensed, all of that. Had my first deal closed in like three weeks, right? License and first deal closed in 3 weeks. So that was pivotal step number 1. What that taught me was it was like a lateral pivot. You know what I'm saying? So still in entrepreneurship, more so at this time, now transitioning into solopreneurship, you know what I'm saying? But now I am continuing to sell because I was selling before, just closed. I'm selling real estate. So now I'm building deeper relationships. I was always a good relationship builder, but now I'm building deeper relationships. So I'm in real estate. I would say probably about 6 years. So now we fast forward. Second pivotal moment, I would say me deciding to myself and understanding like I can't be selling this real estate forever, but I'm not yet ready to get out of it. But what I am ready to do is change my environment because I didn't know any millionaires like I could text or call. My friends were 6-figure earners in corporate, so none of them were thinking independently or differently. So I felt very, not isolated, but I just felt separated. I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel isolated. I just felt independently separated in my thought process. So I'm like, yo, Got to move, bro. Got to get out of here. So second pivotal moment was me moving from Boston to what just made sense was, you know what? I got this real estate license. I can transition it. I get my license in California. I can sell California real estate. $1 million listing, very attractive. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Josh Flagg, the Altman brothers. I'm like, yo, I can do that. I don't really see no black people like that on the network. They had one guy popped in a couple episodes, but he wasn't like a mainstay. I'm like, I'm gonna just go to LA and sell real estate. So I'll go there. I'm selling real estate. You know, I'm networking, building, connecting. I'll land at a boutique brokerage. At this boutique brokerage, the owner of the brokerage is an entrepreneur. So one of his businesses happens to be real estate. He owns the brokerage, but he also owns a title company and he also owns a mortgage company, and he's also building a personal brand. So I happen to go to, shout out to Albert Preciado. So I happened to go to one of his events. I think it was like might have been like Driven 3 or Driven 4 or something. So basically he showed me in real time that, okay, put on these events, people come, have speakers come, give some value, close some packages. But I was picking up on it slow, but I was picking up on it. So the third pivotal moment, I would say, me realizing that I can't see myself being like a 60-year-old, 70-year-old real estate agent, you know, helping people buy and helping sell and sell. So how can I get this money faster? So me quitting real estate to then go all into personal development, relearning things, the idea that time and money is not one, you know what I'm saying? They're not unilateral. They're definitely, you know, two things, and time is infinitely more valuable than money. That led me to my third pivotal moment, which was quitting real estate, doubling down on learning and growing who I am in my mindset, being around new people, leveling up my relationships, and, you know, just selling digital products and services and offering my value, packaging it up and helping people. So that's essentially those were the three. I would say those would probably be the three pivotal moments.
Gotcha. And for you, obviously that's a kind of a different path than, I guess, what we're taught in high school and in college and that kind of thing. What you mentioned that you started with that fashion brand. How did you initially start with that? I would assume it wasn't just one day you woke up, you said, oh, I'm going to have a successful fashion business. What did that look like for you?
Well, I mean, I always knew I wanted to work for myself. Like, I applied to one job in college. I didn't get it. It was at Reebok. I wasn't supposed to get that job because I was applying for a marketing director position in basketball, but I was like a senior in college. So there's no way that I was qualified for that. But my ego was like, bro, like, they ain't hire you. So I was a little upset. So I didn't get that job. And I had a job while I was in college working at Sprint. So I just kept that job. Reebok was the only corporate job that I applied for. Outside of that, I knew, okay, I didn't get this. I'm not working for nobody. And I had started my first entrepreneurship journey, which was basketball leagues in the city. So I was doing that for a little bit. Like, I was the commissioner, I put the league together, all of that stuff. I played. So my brother that passed away and one of my friends from high school introduced me to my business partner at that time, who was in the fashion industry, and he was launching a brand under his name. So basically he was like, yo, you want to go into this, you know, brand with me? I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we rebranded his brand into like a brand name that was a little bit more, you know, broad. It wasn't as niche as, you know, the Ryan Brady brand. It was like, not, we took his name away and we just named it like a name that was more well, you know, rounded and stuff like that. So I just pivoted from there, went straight into fashion. And I just, you know, we didn't know what we was doing, but I used literally all the things that I was innately good at, you know, like networking, marketing, you know, speaking, you know, getting deals done. Like, we didn't have a sales rep early on. So it was like, how are we going to sell these clothes? I mean, I got to sell them, you know, I got to get them in stores, or I got to sell hand-to-hand combat, you know, whatever the case may be. So that's why that happened. And we got better. And I got better. We all grew. Like I said, it was culturally impactful, successful. but we didn't have, I literally just did everything without guidance, no mentorship, no business credit, no business structure, no funding. I mean, we didn't even know those things existed at the time.
Sounds like you really bootstrapped it from the knowledge perspective as well as the finances and the money.
We
Uh,
like leather strapped it. It wasn't even boots, it was leather. Like, it was just
hmm.
materials, man. It's straight
So
materials.
for you now, this has been how many years you've been responsible for yourself, or I guess I don't want to call it self-employed, but running your own life and businesses and
Yeah, I mean, I
trying-
would say probably since I was like 21,
okay.
22. I'm 43 now. You know what I mean? So I had a couple different transitions as far as, different industries and just becoming a better business person and becoming someone that's rounded just in terms of knowledge, seeking out mentorship, hiring people, getting the information that I might not have, be willing to either put the time up or pay for it or whatever the case may be.
That actually leads me to my next question, which is kind of about personal development, but also about business. How did you go about finding the most impactful mentors over these 20 years? What did that look like for you?
I mean, I think it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, mentorship doesn't always have to be somebody in real life. You can have a digital mentor. Like Bob Proctor is a mentor of mine. I can go consume all his content. I can be on his frequency. I can learn from him. Books can be mentors as well. So I think mentorship is first like, who do you align with? Like, who do you hear? Who do you see that might be speaking a message, might be giving you some vibes in terms of energy, frequency that you align with or you want to learn more with. I think once you have that, it's easy for you to grab a book that person may have read or go to YouTube and consume content that the person may have created. And then as you're doing that, books always lead you to other books. Mentors or people that you interested in will always lead you to other people. I mean, just our relationship. I mean, like you introduced me to Dan Martell, you know what I'm saying? Like, and other books and things like that, right? So it's like once you start down that path, the universe will reveal, and one person will lead to another person, one book will lead to another book, one YouTube video will lead to another YouTube video. But the thing is this, I saw a quote today. Let me see if I can find it. And I thought it was super interesting, right? And okay, it's right here. It says, boomers had cheap houses and cheap education, but we have the opportunity to make money online almost for free. So how I take that is, you asked about mentorship. So we're in an age where information is so readily available. Anything that you want to learn, if you want to level up, if you want to learn about carpentry, you want to learn about digital marketing, you want to learn about how to start a business, business structure, business funding, business credit, whatever you want to learn, you can literally learn it for free on YouTube or in a book, or like before content and information was like gated. It was like, I got a mentor. Oh, you got a mentor? Like things were different. Now, since things are so readily available to you, you can learn something in a weekend and apply it the next day or the next week. But what that does is it almost paralyzes people. It's like it's too much information that people got like a little overloaded. So what I say to say is, when it comes to mentorships, if you really want to learn something, I think along with the mentorship, you need to have a certain level of discernment with your discipline. Like, I'm gonna put an hour a day to this, 30 minutes a day to this, X amount of hours a week to this. This is how you're gonna get through the information and really become a specialist or become a little bit more well versed on that topic that you want to learn. And then you put it into action after that. You know what I'm saying? So I think for anyone who might be like, oh, I don't got the money for mentorship or whatever the case may be, you don't need the money. You just need the willingness. Because the same thing that you pay for, you can get it for free, but you're paying for, let's say, how Ryan teaches it, or the community or environment that Ryan created, or the relationship that I'm gonna have if I invest into one of Ryan's programs, let's just say, or the people that I'm gonna meet that's associated with the environment and program that he created. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for value. It is really like an exchange. If let's say Ryan got something that's 15K, and let's say I never bought anything in my life that was 15K. The 15K that I'm investing with Ryan is really helping me more than it's helping him, because psychologically it's teaching myself like, oh, I can invest, I can pay for something that's 15K and I'm okay. Oh shoot, I'm not broke. So it brings you to a level of understanding that, okay, since I paid 15, I could charge 15 or I can get back 30. So it levels up your understanding of how, currency really works. And it's really just an energy exchange.
I was watching, I think it was Dan Martell's story earlier this morning, and it got me thinking. So Alex
Actually,
Hormozy's
I just bought a Dan Martell book. I'm looking at it over there right now.
Buy Back Your Time.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Yeah, good stuff. So the way I've originally found out about Dan was, I think Alex Hormozy had mentioned it, how Dan was actually his coach. And then I got thinking, well, Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels was the one who started, coaching Alex Hormozy, and then Dan Martell was coaching, Alex. And on the story today was Dan was saying, hey, love starting my morning with my coach. And it was him and Ed Milet. And it was, I swiped up and I commented, every coach has a coach. And so it, makes me ask you, who is your coach? I know the answer to this, I think, but I'm curious if you should try to share that.
Yeah. So I mean, I got multiple coaches, man. Myron Golden's a coach of mine. Cody Sanchez, Coach Demont, he's teaching me some things. I'm learning from Jay Griff. You know what I'm saying? So Alex Hormozy for sure. You know what I mean? I feel like you can have different coaches for different areas in your life. You know what I mean? And I think once you are done with a coach, let's say a program or mastermind mentorship, it's cool to either go to that next level with that person if they have a next level, learn the next level up, or go with someone else. And every time that you switch out a coach, again, you don't necessarily have to pay. You just need to consume that person's content or find where that person's programs may be. You know what I'm saying? And then just start going down that road with it. You know what I mean? I think if you start going down that road with it, you can consume. Like for instance, if I wanted to tap into Zig Ziglar's frequency, I'm gonna consume the content. I'm gonna read the books. I'm gonna watch the YouTubes. Now I'm being coached by one of the greats. So what I think is so amazing as humans, especially in a time where you want time to win right now, like if you want a Steve Jobs to mentor you, you can literally watch his press releases, his product displays on YouTube. I mean, when he announced his Apple products, and read his books. And let's say you consume that for like 30 days or however long it takes you. You can, like, I'm just gonna lock in with Steve Jobs right now. You'll get a piece of his frequency. Like I think it's amazing that you could be like, okay, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, I want to lock in with this person, and you lock in, and the next thing you just level up. I think people take that from Advent, like they take that for granted. Like I think, let's say it's you, me, and two other people. Let's say we're like a mastermind group, like accountability mastermind group. Let's say I'm learning one subject, you're learning one subject, they're learning a subject, other person learning a subject. We all commit to, hey, listen, 30 days, I'm gonna lock in with this subject, this person, you're gonna lock in with that subject, that person. We all lock in. 30 days later, we've all read the books, we've all watched the YouTube videos. Now we can go back and teach each other the high level secrets, the strategies, the positions of each of those different categories and each of those different people, and we can bring it back to the group. But people aren't doing stuff like that. That's why I feel like if you're in a relationship, if you're married, partnership, if you got a good, good like sister, brother, mother, aunt, something, you can really like level up if y'all get on the same page, because it might take me longer, let's say 6 months, to get through 2 or 3 people if I really lock in, maybe longer. But if you take half, I take half, we're gonna come out super like a super team.
Hmm.
You know, like if you get coached by Kobe, I get coached by Michael Jordan. Rest in peace, Kobe. And then we like, yo, this is what I learned from Kobe. This what you learned from Mike. We sharing secrets, bro. We gonna be that next level.
Hmm.
I feel
And
like
even like,
that's how people should approach knowledge and execute on the knowledge.
and kind of taking that to the next level, right? This is, I guess, post ChatGPT days. Like you can even go in there and say like, are you familiar with Steve Jobs? Says, yeah. Okay. Answer the following question for my business as if you were Steve Jobs or Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or Dan
Yeah.
Martell. And if they're familiar with the person, it can answer it as if, it was that person. So it's like another level of, at least for a decision. That's not as much as attracting and starting to think on their frequency. But if it's help for a little decision, I've done it before and it was actually pretty interesting. You do a lot of speaking these days. What stages do you like speaking on? Who do you like speaking to? What is the reason that you, of all the things you could be doing with your time, you still choose to go speak on stages?
I mean, well, number one, I feel like a podcast is a stage. I'm on a stage right now. So I feel like having the opportunity to speak, number one, is you're gonna get better. Your communication is gonna get better. Your confidence is gonna increase. Whatever information you learn and learning in real time, it gives you an opportunity to display that information. It gives you a level of authority. Right now, we're both working. What's going to happen after this? You're going to post that. What's going to happen after you post it? People are going to consume that. What's that mean? That means wherever you are in the world, wherever I'm in the world, someone could be consuming the content that we just created, which means the know, like, trust factor for both of us is going to increase. The digital footprint is going to increase. So for me, I speak to podcasters who are looking to monetize. They don't want to do brand deal sponsorships or they want to think of another way to monetize. But also speak to business owners and entrepreneurs who want to learn how to leverage podcasts to get more exposure so they can grow their brand. And the new audience that I'm looking to create in real time is individuals that look like me, that come from places I am, that are probably between the ages of 30 and 50, that are not really knowledgeable on financial literacy, how to save, how to invest, how to be more organized, how to be on top of their finances, how to plan for the future, because that's what I'm really passionate about. I literally pivoted my YouTube channel. So I separated my podcast. So my podcast is on its own channel now, and my personal brand content is on a separate channel. And my personal brand is going to be digital marketing, entrepreneurship, finance content, and the podcast is just going to be the podcast. Because if you follow me for personal brand, I want you to just be inspired about, you can do more, you can learn more. These are different ways that you can live. Because I'm inspired by the Richard fans. I'm inspired by the Brian Youngs. Like these individuals that put out consistent educational and finance content to help people, like get their money together. Even Dave Ramsey to a point. I don't necessarily subscribe to his philosophy, but I appreciate his level of consistency with putting out content to help people. You know what I mean? So that's when I come to speak, those are the different categories I could speak at. I could talk about my story, like both parents passed away, grew up watching my mom do drugs, been in and out of crack houses, seeing my mom go crazy, you know what I'm saying? Lost my a lot of family members of cancer. I could talk from that pocket. I could talk from the entrepreneurship pocket, personal development, finance pocket, monetizing the podcast, So I look to be well versed with just my knowledge base and as many different audiences and people that I can get in front of. That's what I'm about. Because that's how you're gonna grow your brand. You brick by brick.
Mm. I think there's a lot of questions I can unpack there, but the first one I'll ask you this for other speakers that have this decision, and I kind of went through the same decision. It used to be, it was really cringe for me. Oh, starting a podcast. Everybody's starting a podcast these days. One of my past mentors who I had actually worked for was Rob Dial. He had a podcast for like 5 years before we were working together. And then everybody started doing it. And that's where it leads to my question is a lot of speakers will speak on a stage, will start, posting on socials and start building this kind of brand, I guess you would call it. When is it right for a podcaster and a speaker that goes from speaking and building out their personal brand on socials, whatever socials they may be? to start monetizing their podcast in what you teach, the way you teach it?
They monetize immediately. You can go the slow route where you can, get your 1,000 watch hours. I mean, get your 1,000 subs and your 4,000 watch hours. I think YouTube actually made it a little easier now. I think you only need like 500 subs and like 3,000 watch hours or whatever the case may be. But you can go the slow route, or you can package up your knowledge and leverage your show, and monetize. I think one of my clients, actually, you interviewed him, Moneybag Rich.
Yeah.
I taught him something. His first month with some of the stuff that I teach, he made $4,200 from a podcast that does not have a lot of views and does not have a large audience. You know what I'm saying? And then July, August, September, October, November, December, January, it's been 7 months. He said he made almost $50,000 with the information I taught him. And again, his show is still relatively small, doesn't have 5-figure, 6-figure views. You know what I mean? So you don't monetize by brand deals, sponsorships, or having a large audience. Can you monetize that way? Yes. But if you're a new show, are you getting brand deals? Probably not. Are you getting sponsorships? Probably not. Do you have a large audience? No, because you got a new show. So those are not how you're going to make money. That's how you're going to make money as you grow and build your relationships and show your value. But that's not how you're going to make money in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a new show, don't be discouraged because you can't monetize. And I drop so much content on how you can do that, whether you follow me on Instagram or listen to any of the podcasts I've been on. But at the end of the day, you're the value. You just need to know that you got a platform, you can leverage that platform.
And if you have to decide between taking a speaking engagement fee or giving the engagement for free, but monetizing with your methods on the back end, which of those two do you choose and why?
I mean, why would you not be able to take a fee and still monetize on the back end?
I'm just giving you a hypothetical example.
I mean, it depends. Like, I would probably, if I had to choose out of the two, I would probably not take the fee up front and then just monetize on the back end because you make more money. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If you have an offer, if you have an offer package, you could pitch from the stage, or if you show enough value, whereas once you get off stage, people want to rock with you, you're gonna sell more. And then you get access to that email list, you're gonna sell more. I mean,
Sure.
if you just sell from the front end, depending on your rate, you might get 25, 5K, even 10K, but you'll make more money on the back end. Because if you have, let's say you're speaking to an audience of 50 to 100 people, let's say you got a, 2K product. I mean, you sold 5, that's 10K. You know what I'm saying? So you make more money on the back end.
And then as a speaker and podcaster, how do you choose to go about building out your different funnel tiers? You have your tier 1, which is your lowest ticket. What is that? How did you go about choosing that? You have your middle tier, which is how much. How do you go about choosing that? And then your highest tier, which is how much. And how did you go about choosing that offer to be your highest tier?
I mean, I think what you're asking me is, if you're a podcaster, how can you have some offers that are packaged? So what I'll say, number one is, if you're a podcaster and you already got shows out, you can literally turn one episode or multiple episodes into a digital product. So what I would do is I would just turn those episodes into a digital product. I'll give you an example. You could say the top 50 things I learned about 50 entrepreneurship guests, let's just say. Make that an ebook. Every page, a new gem, boom, package that up. $27, $37, $47. That's low ticket. Product 1. Product 2, community. Every podcast, in my opinion, needs a community. You can use a Patreon. You can use a circle. You can use a school, whatever you want to use. At the end of the day, there always will be viewers, audience that want more, but they can't get more if you don't offer more. So if you have a $39, $49, $69, $99 community where they get access to exclusive content, maybe they can rock with you on a Zoom setting, they get some downloadable assets, they can network and build with other viewers. That's a community, right? Let's say it's $99 a month. 10 people. Now your podcast is making $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year. That's a bill. That's probably going to take care of 1 or 2 bills. You just start adding more and more people. It's product number 2. That's recurring revenue. Then as a higher ticket, I would say as a podcaster, whatever your knowledge is, it might be how to start. It might be how to start a podcast, or maybe the podcast is a way for you to connect with more of your audience, or get the word out on what you do outside of the show. Package that up, you know what I'm saying, and maybe that's a $250,000, $500,000, $1,000 offer. Now you leverage that, use your show, leverage that, get more visibility, close people on your higher ticket. Maybe it's a $2,500 package, whatever it is. You can pod close them. You can leverage the podcast, close the deal, boom. So now you got a low ticket, you got a recurring revenue offer, and you also got a higher ticket.
You mentioned a phrase there, pod close. I've never heard that before. What does that mean?
So basically, how a pod close works is, first of all, the podcast that you have or the guest that you bring on has to be very intentional. So I'll give you an example. Let's say on my show, I want to bring speakers on my show. So if you're a speaker, this is a place for speakers only, right? I'll bring speakers on the show. I give them 30 minutes, 40 minutes to go crazy, talk about what they do, how they help people, the impact that they're having, all of that, right? Now, since the know, like, trusted at 30, 40 minutes is increasing, they get more comfortable with me. I'm getting more comfortable with them. We're basically having a conversation. I'm learning more about, who they are. They clearly want to speak because I intentionally brought speakers on my show. So I know they wanted to get more stages. So I'm like, hey, Ryan, man, listen, today's podcast was great. You gave a lot of value, and I can see, you want to, get on more stages. So let me ask you this, man, like, if you had an opportunity to get on more like shows, podcast stages, is that something that you might want to do? They're going to be like, yeah, clearly, because you were very intentional on who you brought on. So you're going to say, hey, well, just so you know, our team, this is what we do. We actually help people just like you get on more shows. So if you enjoyed today's podcast and you want to do more podcasts, we can actually help you do that. So I would love to connect with you. Either now we can talk a little further about it, or we can set a time tomorrow, the next day, and I can give you more information on how we can actually help you do this. And you close the deal. Spot close.
That's cool.
But you got to be intentional. You can't just have random ass guests come on the show. It has to be in line with your product or service.
And then this question is more of I guess the personal development nerd inside me. You mentioned how you kind of were raised with your mom. What role do you think the lessons you learned from going through that and learning from that do you see in your life today? In business, personal, whatever it may be.
I mean, I think initially it was more like learning from the decisions that they made, like what not to do in my life. Like, oh, my dad abused alcohol. Okay, I see how that turned out. My mom's abused drugs. Okay, I seen how that turned out. My dad passed away from this, AIDS, whatever. I see how that turned out. My mom passed away from double pneumonia. Okay, I see how that turned out. Uncle, aunt, passed away from lung cancer. Oh, okay, I see how that turned out. So I'm learning from them on what not to do. So I think for me, it's really been that. Like, all the lessons I got from my parents is what not to do. Like, other than my grandmother, like my grandmother taught me about, like, well, she didn't teach me directly. It was more indirectly, because when she passed away, she left me a life insurance. So I learned about that. So more so all my upbringing, all my learning has been from what not to do or what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Or what I experienced. So that just shaped me to want more. Like, I wanted my life to be different. I wanted to be greater. I wanted to be able to impact people in a positive manner. So those are the things that I learned in my upbringing. Just like, okay, cool. If I want my life to be better, I got to do things different. I got to make different decisions. You know what I'm saying? Than the decisions that were on display for me.
Sure. That's valuable. And I think I know I'm noticing a lot of entrepreneurs, we have things like that happened with our parents in the past that kind of function as a little fire under us. I don't know if it's all entrepreneurs, all business owners, but I'm seeing a lot of that. Do you have a message for the aspiring speaker, the person that knows they have a story inside them, that knows there's a certain kind of person who they are called to serve, but they don't know how to get out there. They don't know how to get on the stages, speak on the stages, get on the podcasts, put their message out there. Do you have a message for that person that's kind of stuck and paralyzed because there's so many options out there on what they could do? Do you have a message for that person?
Yeah, what I would say, just get started. Like if you don't know how to get on no podcast, or if you don't know how to get on any stages, I would say just create your own stage. Create your own YouTube channel. Make a commitment every day. I'm gonna make a video. I'm just talking about make it like a daily diary or daily video vlog. You know what I'm saying? Like a vlog or whatever case may be, and just share your information. How you feel today? You know what are some of the thoughts you have? That you're gonna get, first of all, you're gonna get, the consistency is gonna grow, the accountability is gonna be there. You're gonna be a better speaker. You're gonna impact people. People can consume the content that you make. You'll have basically a log of all the content that you created over that period of time. And then people will see you and opportunities will present themselves. So I wouldn't think about or worry about being perfect or I got to be a certain way. I'll just start this channel, use your phone, use your computer, hit that record button, go crazy.
There you go. Well, I know we're a little bit over here on time. Is there any last message that you want to share with speakers at any point in their career, from the aspiring, the professional, the TEDx speaker, the business owner who speaks as a function of their business and balances business and speaking? Do you have any last message for anybody along that journey?
I don't have a last message. I feel like the message I just gave is pretty applicable, you know what I mean? But I do have some stuff to give away for free, I would say. So
Oh boy.
If you want to learn about pod closing, or if you want to learn how to, just leverage podcasts, go to 100K podcastprogram.com. It's completely for free. It's jam-packed with information. 100K podcastprogram.com. If you want to learn how to leverage podcast guesting to get in front of more people, text the word guest, GUEST, to 213-410-4920. I do a live workshop every single Thursday. You get in there for free. I give like over 90 minutes of value. Tap in, learn these secrets so you can leverage these shows, get in front of more people and help more people.
I know I'm gonna be putting myself in that funnel, that's for sure. All right, well, Brendan, Mr. Boyd, thank you for taking the time here. We'll wrap it up. Thank you for listening. Cheers, y'all.
100%. Listen, y'all, make sure that you guys share this episode, not just because we gave some value, but just because, this is a podcast that you need to tap into. So share the episode, subscribe to the channel, send it to 2 or 3 of your favorite people right now, and make sure that you help my guy grow his show. And can't wait to see you guys on another one.
Thank you.